You are not failing because you are not praying. You are failing because of how you pray. The prayer that most men bring to God is the prayer of a man who has forgotten who he is. He has confused humility with poverty. He has mistaken reverence for weakness. He approaches the throne of heaven with the posture of a man who is not certain he belongs there. And what leaves his mouth is not the prayer of a warrior standing in authority. It is the prayer of a beggar at a gate he does not know he owns the key to. There are 3 specific errors that make a warrior's prayer powerless. Not 3 theological positions. 3 concrete mistakes that you may be making right now. And 3 corrections that cost nothing to apply, except the willingness to pray differently than you were taught. When the weight arrives, the trial, the attack, the season that presses without releasing, most men pray the same prayer. Lord, take this from me. Make this easier. Let it end. That is not a warrior's prayer. That is a prayer for extraction. And God did not promise extraction. He promised something that most men, if they are honest, have never actually asked for. That He would grant you, according to the riches of His glory, to be strengthened with might through His Spirit in the inner man. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 16. Strengthened with might in the inner man, not removed from the field, equipped for it. The prayer that moves heaven in the hour of trial is not the prayer that asks God to reduce the weight. It is the prayer that asks God to increase the man who carries it. Those are not the same request. One is the prayer of a man who wants out. The other is the prayer of a man who intends to go through. The soldier who asks his commander to make the enemy weaker is asking from the wrong position. The soldier who asks his commander to make him stronger is asking from the position of a man who intends to fight. God answers the second prayer. He has always answered the second prayer. The correction. Stop asking God to reduce the weight. Ask Him to increase the man who carries it. That is the prayer He answers. You approach God as though you are a stranger requesting an audience. You soften your language. You add qualifications. You pray as a man who is not entirely certain he has the right to be in the room. And the prayer that comes out carries the weight of that uncertainty. But you are not a stranger. You are not a beggar. You are an heir who has been given a specific and explicit grant of authority over the very forces you are asking God to deal with on your behalf. Behold, I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy. Luke, chapter 10, verse 19. All the power of the enemy. That is not a partial grant. That is not authority over some of the enemy's power, contingent on your current spiritual condition or the length of your quiet time this week. It is the authority of the name of Christ, given to every man who stands in that name. And the enemy knows the difference between the man who prays knowing this and the man who prays hoping for it. One of them he fears, the other he ignores. The soldier who asks permission to use a weapon that has already been placed in his hand is not being humble. He is being ignorant. The weapon is yours. The authority is granted. The prayer that does not stand in that authority is not a prayer below God. It is a prayer below the position God has already assigned you. And a warrior who prays below his position fights below his rank. The correction. Pray from your position, not toward it. You are not asking God to give you authority over the enemy. You are exercising the authority you have already been given, in the name of the one who gave it. You prayed, heaven was silent, you stopped. That is the fault. Most men conclude one of 2 things when the answer does not arrive immediately. Either God did not hear, or the answer is no. So they withdraw. They call it acceptance. They call it trusting God's timing. Sometimes it is. More often it is a warrior who stopped building the wall because the enemy showed up and he put the tools down. Nehemiah did not stop. When Sanballat threatened the workers and the wall was half finished and the people were exhausted and the enemy was circling, Nehemiah did not call a prayer meeting and wait for the threat to pass. He stationed men at the exposed sections. He gave every builder a trowel and a sword, and they built. Those who built on the wall and those who carried burdens loaded themselves so that with one hand they worked at construction and with the other held a weapon. Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse 17. One hand on the work, one hand on the weapon. The prayer did not stop because the enemy appeared. The building did not stop because the prayer was unanswered yet. Both continued simultaneously, because Nehemiah understood that the wall would not build itself while he waited for silence from heaven to become speech, and the prayer would not be abandoned simply because the field grew loud. The enemy's appearance was not a sign that God had stopped moving. It was a sign that the work was worth opposing. The prayer that stops at the first silence is the prayer that was never meant to be answered, not because God was absent, but because the man withdrew before the answer arrived. Some prayers require the sustained pressure of a man who has decided that the wall will be finished regardless of who shows up to oppose it. The silence is not the verdict. The silence is the test of whether the man meant what he said when he started. The correction. Do not mistake unanswered for unheard. Keep the trowel in one hand and the weapon in the other. Build and pray. Pray and build. Do not put either down until the wall stands. 3 faults, 3 corrections. None of them require a new theology. All of them require a decision. To pray as the man you have been made, not as the man the comfortable version of the faith trained you to be. Ask for strength, not extraction. Stand in the authority already granted. Hold the position until the wall is finished. These are not 3 suggestions. They are the 3 adjustments that turn a plea into a weapon, that turn a man who prays toward power into a man who prays from it. That is how a warrior prays. Not louder, not longer, not with more rehearsed language. From the correct position, with the correct understanding of who sent him, what he was given, and what he is authorized to do before he walks onto the field. The plea stays outside. The weapon goes in. The order exists for who are done praying like beggars. Take your post.